Hello, my name is Matthew Kincaid, and I'm the upper school assistant principal at Kid Believe in New Orleans, Louisiana. This is my video number 1 essay submission. Why do I want to be a leader for KIP? Well, it's interesting sitting here answering that question because I didn't always want to be a leader for KIP. I remember sitting in my professional development on the very first day and looking at the mantras around the room and listening to my principal talk about working hard and being nice. And while I truly in my core believe that those were two values that any successful human being needed, I thought about my grandfather, who was a sharecropper, who worked hard and was nice his entire life, but had no more than a third grade education. I thought about my parents, who worked hard and were nice, but never were really able to buy and own and have the things and live the dreams that they wanted to live. But the one thing that they did instill in me was the power of an education. So working at KIP in the beginning, I was skeptical. Were we sending a message to kids that their parents hadn't worked hard and been nice because many of them hadn't reached the peaks that they wanted to in their lives? What were we truly asking our kids to aspire to? It didn't take me long to realize that the people in my building loved those students so genuinely. They sought out the answers to solve the structural problems. They worked hard into the wee hours of night to make sure that students had the educational materials that they needed. And I want to be a leader in KIP because I want to continue that legacy. I want to build upon the work that's been done before me at Kid Believe. After the death of Michael Brown, the death of Tamir Rice, a student came up and asked me to explain to him why the people who had killed those young men weren't indicted. He reminded me that in New Orleans, murders happen all the time, and that if the police find out who murdered somebody in New Orleans, they go to jail. Mr. Kincaid, why does it seem like the police are targeting black men and there are no consequences when the lives of young black men are taken away? I wrote a poem after I spoke to that kid, and I'm going to read just a little bit of it before I answer the next question. Dear black child, I'm sorry that we can't have nice things. If I could, I would give you the world, but I know what it's like to have the world and see it taken away. See, I come from great wealth. People like me presided over the Nile. Africa burst the diamonds that produces those Jared smiles. And see, Europe was in the dark ages, while Africa was in the golden age. Men like Mansa Musa had riches as far as the eyes can see. Imhotep created medical philosophies thousands of years before Hippocrates, and Plato and Aristotle and Socrates studied at our universities. W.B. Du Bois once said that education is anywhere and everywhere political, and that the political goal of education for people from oppressed groups must be to find a means to end their oppression. I definitely think my greatest strength as an assistant principal is that ever since I was 15 years old, I've been leading trainings on social justice and social equity. I believe that I can lead a staff that uses culturally relevant pedagogy to teach kids in a way that affirms their racial identity, that affirms their cultural and ethnic identity, that brings the community into the school and brings the community together, that teaches our students that they actually have a place in this history, that they have a place in this struggle for their own power and privilege in education as well. I think I can mobilize people around the idea that our students, no matter where they come from, can end up where we want them to be. I believe my biggest growth area is coaching. As a teacher, I was so used to, in my four walls, having control over everything that happened. Whether my students succeeded or failed, I felt like relied upon me. If I put in that little bit of extra work, that student who believes that they couldn't pass the test just might. The student that thought they couldn't write the essay might be able to write the essay. The student who thought they couldn't give the presentation would have the confidence to do so. I knew what I needed to do to maximize my potential in the classroom. As an assistant principal, I've leaned on that strength as a teacher in trying to help my teachers that I coach to maximize their potential. But I found myself too often wanting to use that same type of mindset that I had as a teacher of doing it all on my own. I want to be a better coach that inspires people to reach their maximum potential. I want to be a coach that can get people to reach deep inside themselves and to believe in themselves and to believe in our students and to work hard to achieve goals. What excites me most about being a member of the leadership team program is just meeting so many like-minded people from different walks of life, from different regions, from different schools, different experiences, who can help to develop me into the leader that I want to be. Getting feedback from like-minded people, getting feedback from people who have done this journey and walked this life that I'm trying to walk. I want to meet people who've learned how to perfectly maximize the community in their school. People who've learned how to maximize outreach into the community from their school. Leaders that have learned how to maximize their coaching. Leaders who have failed and picked up the pieces. Leaders who've excelled from proficient to transformational. I'm so excited to meet all the different people who I can learn from, who I can grow from. I'm just excited to be considered.